Welcome to the 2020 Legends League season. First, I want to say thank you to everybody for showing up in person or online for the draft. Given the situation with COVID, I wanted to make sure everybody was safe. I know it wasn't optimal with some of the sounds and things like that, but at the end of the day, we got it done. So I just want to say thanks to everybody for that. So let's get on to the draft review.
All right, welcome to Draft Recap 2020. You know, Yahoo's got nothing on us. Good luck to everyone this season. Can't wait.
Good luck to everybody. Let's do it. All right, so with the first overall pick, the Houston Cardinals. They started out doing what any of us would have done with the number one pick and take Christian McCaffrey, and then follows up with two solid receivers at Allen Robinson and McLaurin, especially getting these guys back here on the comeback. But to be able to pair McCaffrey up with his keeper and Derrick Henry, it's going to be really tough to beat the Cardinals each week with those two running backs. And then to come with Emmanuel Sanders, who should be a nice little X factor for the Saints. Phillip Lindsay, I think, is going to be better than Gordon, to be honest with you. And then to get Aaron Rodgers in the 8th round. He's a solid player. He's not going to blow up, but he's not going to lose the game for you. You need some consistency. And then Marquise Brown, who was his keeper. That was a solid keeper. And then to get Sammy Watkins in the 12th round when last year he was drafted up here. I think he'll have a better season this year. It might have been health problems or something. But good draft by Houston. I got him going 8-5.
Next, we have Dave, A2, picking second. I'll be honest, you caught me off guard with Michael Thomas as the second overall pick, but it's a great, solid pick. I love it. The running backs, pretty dry with Gurley and Benny Snell. And now that Gurley, his snap count's going to be cut down to 15, 20 a game, that's not looking too good for you. Great receivers right here. Kind of questionable in the 7th and 8th, but they'll have opportunities. It's a great team.
With the third pick, A-Hills selected Ezekiel Elliott. The top level talent on this team is very high, but after that, the roster really falls off. I'm seeing overdrafted players. Jordan Howard, Mecole Hardman's a great pick, but where it really falls apart for this team is going to be at quarterback. We know Josh Allen is not a consistent fantasy player, and outside of Joe Burrow, I think he's going to have to pick someone up. So, Sydney, you might as well change your team name from A-Hills to 3 quarterbacks. Jack Doyle, I don't think you can rely on at tight end, and drafting a defense really early, I think, will be the fault for A-Hills. I think they're going to struggle this season and finish with a record of 3-10.
With the 4th overall pick, we have the Shelby Twips. So, with the 4th pick, getting Saquon Barkley was probably the big surprise of the first round, obviously. But then to come back with Zach Ertz in the 2nd round just because Kelsey and Kittle came off the board, I think he would have been better off taking a Thielen, a Robinson, McLaurin, something like that, a receiver. But then he follows back up with Amari Cooper, Cortland Sutton, and then David Johnson, which so he kind of bounced back from this mistake here that I thought he made. But then Gronk, when you just drafted Zach Ertz to draft Gronk, when I don't think anybody was really checking for him, you probably could have got him a little later. It was kind of like, I don't know. But then Kareem Hunt as his keeper, is great. It's a great thing to have. And then Carson Wentz, like that. I really like Jalen Reagor as a rookie. Mike Williams should be pretty good. He should be the top target for Tyrod Taylor. So, I mean, really, it was picks I didn't like, and it was picks that I did. So, overall, I actually really have them going 7 and 6. So, it's a good draft. Good solid draft.
Next up, we have the Napalms. I was kind of surprised again with Kamara at 5, but he's gonna definitely get his touches. I love Jonathan Taylor. I think he's gonna run away with the job real soon, and these two are a great 1-2 punch. And then with Carry-On, you have 3 legitimate starters in the league. Robert Woods and Jarvis Landry, 10+ targets almost every week. Henry Ruggs, I love this pick here in the 6th. You had great keepers with Andrews and Metcalf. It's hard to top those. And then I actually like the Hawkinson pickup at 11 right after him. It's a great team. Heavy going 9-4 this year.
Sammy and the Beaver Creek Munchers with the 6th pick. I think Sammy's going to have a really good overall team. There's not many holes on the roster here. It looks like some guys are going to be projected a little low. I think Sammy, week 1, we're going to have a high-scoring battle there. I think you're roughly 129, 130 projected points. Is not giving your team enough credit. You know, Murray's got a chance to be an absolute star, you know, and if he really develops, he could give you 30 points a game, which could make you a very, very formidable opponent. I have Sammy at 8-5 and making the playoffs.
So at the 7th pick, we have Wixom Michigan. I didn't mind a Nick Chubb pick because, you know, to get a running back to start out, it's good way to go. Kenny Galladay, another good pick in the 2nd round to get Kenny Galladay there. But I didn't like keeping Marlon Mack in the 3rd round when you could have had most of these players after that. And then Stafford, I don't know. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I think yes, he's gonna have a nice season, but I think he would have been better valued down here. Cooks, a lot of injury problems. I know he's in Houston now, but injury problems, concussions, things like that. So it's a give me. I did like the Crowder pick. Alshon Jeffrey for the same reason as Brandon Cooks. Will he be on the field? Tevin Coleman didn't really excite me. Peterson, I don't know. I mean, you think he's done, but then he shows up. But at some point, it has to kind of end. I don't really know. I just don't really like much of the pick, so it was kind of tough to see him really winning many games in this league this year. So I have him coming out with a record of 2-11.
With the 8th pick in the draft, we have the Wixom Hicks. Thank you for Derrick Henry. With his first pick, he drafted Aaron Jones here. Great, solid pick. Dual threat out of the backfield. I love George Kittle. DJ Moore and Devontae Parker, great receivers. Devontae Parker, I was surprised he even emerged last year, but he's incredible now. Zach Moss, he's still a question mark to me. Maybe I just don't keep up with Buffalo news enough, but Paris Campbell, man, that's tough. But keeping Waller in the 12th, Patriots D still could show out. Bills savant and incredible. I have you going 6 and 7 this year.
Next up is Dearborn. I just really have to question the Le'Veon Bell pick. You know, when you draft a guy in the top 20, you would really expect them to be in your starting roster, especially week 1 with no injuries. So I you know, really wonder where you were going there with that pick. If he's someone that you were just going to store on your bench in the 2nd round, if he was going to be someone on your bench, you would at least think you would reach for, you know, a rookie if they weren't even going to be on your roster week 1. CeeDee Lamb could be an absolute star, and I really like Jonnu Smith. Overall, the roster is really good outside of Le'Veon Bell pick, which I just have to question. Dearborn's going to be 5 and 8, but could have the potential for more if Le'Veon Bell pans out. I think he's going to be out of the playoffs.
With the 10th overall pick, we have the Ann Arbor Harambe's. So picking in the 10th spot, it's always kind of a difficult spot because you got to either wait till someone falls to you or you got to overdraft a player too early or things like that. But he gets Patrick Mahomes, who's either 1 or 2 in quarterbacks in the entire league, and then to get the top tight end, pretty much got to put him as a pretty big advantage over a lot of teams. And then to come back with Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, and Edelman as your receivers because you already kept Eckler, that's a pretty solid starting lineup. And then you come in with Judy. Breida should be pretty solid. Singletary, same kind of questions. I think it could haunt him, but I think overall his roster's really good. Mims is a solid rookie. And then to get Larry Fitzgerald down here in the 11th round is one of the best picks in the draft, I think. 2 attacks. Why not throw a flyer on him this late? He could turn out to be great. And then to get Seattle's defense, it was given in this spot. He just sat there and took the best player on the board pretty much every time and came out with a really solid team. And I got him going 9 and 4.
All right, with the 11th pick, we have the Vegas Golden Showers. I was surprised Sid passed on Clyde with the 3rd pick there, but I think it's a steal. Maybe not a steal, but I still think it's a great pick at 11. Mike Evans, Mr. Inconsistent, but he can blow up for 35 points any given week. Swift, hope so. Then about after that, maybe DJ Chark, but Daryl Henderson, is he going to touch the ball? Deontay Johnson, he's 4th string now, getting passed by rookies. Preston Williams, really good pick in the 9th if he comes back healthy, but I'd be going 4 and 9. Better than my original 2 and 11 projection. So
12th pick, we have Riverdale. I think Tom Brady's going to make or break this team, as I think he's going to be a boom or a bust. We saw him, in New England really kind of fall off fantasy football-wise. I mean, he's a great player, but as far as statistics, we'll see with the new weapons he has there. But, if he pans out and is one of the top quarterbacks, I think they can be very, very tough, but that is a big question mark. I think he just took great picks in the 1st and 2nd round. I mean, he's got the top 2 receivers, I think, in the league. When you're talking about Adams and Hopkins, those 2 guys should keep you in almost every game each week. The only thing that I question about, again, is that Tom Brady pick, and it's going to be the boomer bust. So not knowing that, I have you at 7 and 6 and the first team out of the playoffs. Obviously, Tom Brady could change that completely, but overall, a really, really good team.
All right, so with the 13th pick, we have the Inkster backbreaker. You can't beat Tyreek Hill at the 13th pick in the 1st round. Best player on the board, you obviously take the guy. I was kind of expecting Joe Mixon to kind of go here, but that's still a good pick. To come back with Connor, he's a solid running back. And then this was a great keeper. You get Godwin, who's going to get a whole bunch of targets. Tom Brady's going to throw him the ball a bunch of times. That's a given. Breeze. Again, much like Aaron Rodgers, he's just going to go out there. He's going to give you the same numbers every week. He might not go out and blow it up like he used to, but he won't go out there and give you 7 points. It's a good pick. Mostert, I don't know. I kind of like him, but then I'm just not convinced yet. I think Sterling Shepard was a solid keeper. Ebron could be an X factor, having Roethlisberger thrown to him, because he likes to go to the tight end a lot, and it could actually work. He could have came into something right there. 49ers defense, it's a good defense. Perriman, we'll see. Samuel, I kind of like that. And then I do like Herndon. So it wasn't like a bad draft. It wasn't a good draft. But I think they're going to be just outside on the playoffs at 6 and 7.
the final pick, the 14th, we have the Cairo Cobras. Starting with Lamar Jackson off the board's huge. He's going to be able to keep you in games by himself. Joe Mixon and Sanders, great combo of running backs. I was very surprised you passed on Hopkins, though. That's your boy. The only questionable pick, maybe Tyler Boyd, because I don't know what's even going to happen in Cincinnati with Burrow. But everything else, I think Claypool may be the biggest steal of this draft. I think he has huge potential, 6'6", fast. We shall see. I have them going 10-3 this season.
All right, overall, in the recap of the draft, we're going to discuss our best, worst draft, and then players we really liked and disliked. I will start. Best draft, I think I'm going to give it to Mike Redd. He's just got a great mix of proven veterans with young, talented players. Kerryon Johnson and TJ Hawkinson. You got to love the picks also, because it's a little bit of hometown love for us Detroit Lions fans. Red, I like what you have put together there. I think you're going to be a tough team to beat this year.
I also have Red as one of them, and then I have Riverdale too. I love the picks. Two receivers off the board are great. A little questionable in the running back, but I think Cam Akers might be your star going down the road. I just like it top to bottom.
All right, and for me, the best draft, I think, actually, I like Ann Arbor's draft because of the 10 spot. It's such a hard spot to draft out of, and to come together with that good team. I think that's the best draft. Followed by, I like Houston's draft, and I also like Riverdale's draft. Like Aaron was saying, Tom Brady can make him 9-4. He could be 7-6. We're gonna see, but I really like this draft too.
Worst draft. This is where it's brutal, guys. You know, two of my buddies in the league too. You know, hell in Vegas. What the fuck are you guys doing? Just to be real. Parsons keeping Jimmy Graham, drafting Alshon Jeffrey. Just very, very questionable picks. Calvin, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, never played a snap in this league. Mike Evans, amazing player but often injured. An unproven Lion in the 3rd round and an overdrafted Matt Ryan in the 4th. I'll just leave it at that. Cal, I hope the best for you, but I think it could be a tough season, man.
Yeah, I don't think I need to add too much more to that. Vegas and hell, where's drafts?
It's a consensus here. The thing with Vegas, with me, that was bothering me was that he could have kept Ronald Jones for an 11th round pick, and then he traded him to Riverdale for a 10th round pick. So Riverdale got over on that one. Kudos to him for that. But instead of drafting back-to-back like upside rookies or somebody he could keep, he ends up drafting the Buffalo defense and LaShawn McCoy. So that kind of just sums it all up for me. And then hell, it's like guys from like Peterson and Alshon Jeffrey, guys kind of like from yesteryear that just, I don't know, it's just I don't see anybody being scared to play this team each week. So I had to go with those are the 2 worst drafts.
Best overall picks, there were a lot of really good picks on the draft board.
I agree.
I mean, the top 3 rounds is easy. Okay, everyone wants most of those guys, but players that I think people maybe are not talking about that I think could have just huge seasons. Mecole Hardman in the 7th round I think is going to be an awesome pick, and that's going to be a guy you could potentially keep for the years to come. Marvin Jones Jr. in the 7th round. I mean, the Lions pass the ball a ton. He's a proven receiver, and I think he could actually have a huge season, so he could be another keeper. And Mike Gesicki in the 11th round. I think the Dolphins are going to be down a lot, and they're going to have to air it out, and we know what Fitzmagic does. And if he has to sit out, maybe 2, I just think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and he's a young, talented guy. Those are just 3 picks that stuck out to me that I think could be really good players.
Yeah, it looks like the 7th round receivers are to our liking. I have CeeDee Lamb and AJ Green both going in the 7th as 2 of my favorite picks. And then Chase Claypool in the 12th round there. I think he has huge potential.
Yeah. For me, I really like Henry Ruggs III. I was one of my targets going into the draft. I thought I had him in the bag, and they took him from me. But I really like that pick. I also really like Larry Fitzgerald over here in the 11th round. All these guys got picked. Future Hall of Famer. He's going to get fed the ball a ton. That's 75, 80 catches. Forget targets. That's 75, 80 catches all the way down here. That's a great pick. And then who had somebody has Slayton.
Darius Slayton.
Somebody has
I think this might have been the
Slayton.
dice. Was this the dice?
I don't know. I can't remember. But
if that's the dice,
Darius
you
Slayton
can't compliment the dice.
in the 10th round. I don't know if it was a dice or not, but to get him in the 10th round after the finish he had,
Darius Slayton was good.
he could end up being up here somewhere next year. Well, obviously he'd probably be your keeper. So great pick.
Worst picks. To me, this one was very, very easy. Christian McCaffrey. If you took, Trevor, help me out here. What's the guy with the mustache in Jacksonville?
Oh, Gardner Minshew.
If you drafted Gardner Minshew number 1, you got a free case of Bud Light. So I think we all know that Trevor made a major mistake here. But all jokes aside, Steelers defense in the 9th, the 3 QBs. You really got to question that pick by team 3 QBs. Le'Veon Bell in the 2nd round. You can't draft a player that high and not play him if they're not injured. And Matt Ryan in the 4th. Matt Ryan's a great quarterback and a good fantasy quarterback, but I think with the available players out there and what you could have had, again, I have to question if Fred had to pay half of Calvin's buy-in money, because why in the hell would you take him that early?
Yeah.
So, worst picks, I have Paris Campbell. Where'd my boy go? In the 8th, I just think he's a disaster. Have we ever even seen him play a full game of football? He's always going down. I actually didn't get him one.
Oh,
Fair enough.
And for me, I hate to do it again, but to have 2 10th round picks where you can get a couple of rookies you can stash away, and then to take a defense, they're good, but it's still a defense in the 10th round. And then LaShawn McCoy. It's just, I think those were the two worst picks, given what you could have got out of it. So.
All three of us picked teams in order here to do reviews for and pick records. And based on our record projections, I'm sure the wins and losses won't equal out, but this is our projection here. At 10-3 in first place in the regular season, the Cairo Cobras. In second, tied for second place, but getting the bye, we have Rochester at 9-4. And tied for second place, but getting whatever you want to call it, home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs, and Arbor Harambe's. At 8-5 in fourth place, the Beaver Creek Munchers. In fifth place, we have A2, and at 8-5, rounding out the playoffs, we have the Houston Crenels. Followed by Riverdale, which I think we all can agree on. If Tom Brady produces, I think he's going to jump above and probably and bump somebody out of the playoffs. I think same thing for Shelby, 7-6.
Same thing, yeah.
When you're talking 7-6, 8-5, 9-4, even 10-3, I feel like those are going to be the 8 teams you can kind of coin flip to pick your playoffs. But Riverdale and Shelby, just the way the coins fall, you guys are out of the playoffs and our projections. At 6-7, we have Wixom and Inkster. Dearborn at 5-8, Golden Showers at 4-9, A-Hills at 3-10, and rounding it out at 2-11, Hell, Michigan.
Yahoo got them going 0-13, projected 0-13.
Yeah, we could have been a lot meaner to some teams.
No,
and a lot
nobody's
nicer,
ever
and a lot
done
nicer
that.
to others. But yeah, no one's going 0-13.
No one's done that in the history of our league. So
I just hope that my team isn't the one that has to fall to hell, because they're going to beat somebody this year, and it could be in a spot where you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
All three of us picked teams in order here to do reviews for and pick records. And based on our record projections, I'm sure the wins and losses won't equal out, but this is our projection here. At 10-3 in first place in the regular season, the Cairo Cobras. In second, tied for second place, but getting the bye, we have Rochester at 9-4. And tied for second place, but getting whatever you want to call it, home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs, and Arbor Harambe's. At 8-5 in fourth place, the Beaver Creek Munchers. In fifth place, we have A2, and at 8-5, rounding out the playoffs, we have the Houston Crenels. Followed by Riverdale, which I think we all can agree on. If Tom Brady produces, I think he's going to jump above and probably and bump somebody out of the playoffs. I think same thing for Shelby, 7-6.
Same thing, yeah.
When you're talking 7-6, 8-5, 9-4, even 10-3, I feel like those are going to be the 8 teams you can kind of coin flip to pick your playoffs. But Riverdale and Shelby, just the way the coins fall, you guys are out of the playoffs and our projections. At 6-7, we have Wixom and Inkster. Dearborn at 5-8, Golden Showers at 4-9, A-Hills at 3-10, and rounding it out at 2-11, Hell, Michigan.
Yahoo got them going 0-13, projected 0-13.
Yeah, we could have been a lot meaner to some teams.
No,
and a lot
nobody's
nicer,
ever
and a lot
done
nicer
that.
to others. But yeah, no one's going 0-13.
No one's done that in the history of our league. So
I just hope that my team isn't the one that has to fall to hell, because they're going to beat somebody this year, and it could be in a spot where you don't want it to happen.
Yeah. So yeah, man, the draft was fun. It was good to see everybody online. Everybody stayed safe. A week later, I think everybody's still alive. So
all right, hopefully Sammy stops making so many transactions, and next, in a couple of weeks, we can finally start
playing some football,
playing some fantasy football, and get our rosters adjusted. If you guys want to send me out trade proposals for 2 weeks out, that's fair. I just can't do anything until then.
So yeah, probably next week, week 1 preview. Keep it rolling. See you guys then. Beers and cheers.
Good luck, guys.
We were also able to get a few interviews after the draft review show. Here's what some of you guys had to say. So why did you draft Jordan Howard in the 6th round?
Because he was the standout running back for the Miami Dolphins.
All right, you're projected to go 3-10. I think that's about right. And are you going to pick up a 3rd quarterback? Because the 2 you have don't look really good.
But I got some complaints. I mean, people going through the waiver wire catching people. So what's going on with that?
We'll be asking the questions.
We're the ones doing the asking the questions now. You're the one being interviewed. So.
No. People thinking squad's getting hold, and we feel like we need to go to the waiver wire.
I think you stood there for all 14 picks, and you made all of them yourself. So I think the only person you should be asking the questions to is yourself right now. Thanks for talking.
I know what I did. But like I said,
Are you comfortable? Can you see
where's the commission with these rules on going to the waiver wire? Can I go to the waiver wire now to find my picks? Do I have to wait?
The question is, are you going to be able to sleep at night knowing that you drafted Jack Doyle as your starting tight end?
That's why I'm trying to go to the waiver wire.
Sammy, can you tell us how comfortable are you having Kyler Murray as your starting quarterback all season?
Super comfortable. He's going to be the best quarterback of the year. Guaranteed, hands down.
Odell Beckham Jr., we all think was a great pick in the third. Are you considering him as a franchise player already?
He has to show up first. We got to see what Baker can do with him.
Would you jerk off Hayden Hurst for 16 touchdown catches this season?
Not even close.
What did you draft Darius Slayton, or was he the dice?
He was the dice.
That's all we've got for you.
All right.
Love you, Sammy.
Good luck, guys.
Later, man.
Later.
So, Beers and Cheers Sports has the Riverdale Roots as one of the X Factor teams going into the 2020 Legend League season. Do you have any comments you'd like to add to that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a fair assessment when it comes to it, especially going into the draft where I had 0 keepers, and I went with the very controversial wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. No one's got the testicle fortitude to do that and come out on top.
All right. I like the sound of that. So you like your chances this year?
I think I'll be definitely in the playoffs, and if my upside comes through, Tom Brady solidifies GOAT status, I think we'll be in the finals.
Well, okay, yeah, that's what the Beers and Cheers Sports team is saying, that Tom Brady could either make or break your season, and you're one of the teams that you're definitely going to have to watch out for. You're going to have to stay tuned to the pre-draft show to see the results.
We're going anywhere from New England. Either the ex-New England or New England's going to take me to the finals.
Well, it sounds
Tom
good.
Brady, baby. 2020.
So, Beers and Cheers Sports has the Rochester Napalms as a serious contender in the 2020 Legends League season, finishing with a record of 9-4. You got anything you'd like to add to that?
No, that's a good projection. As long as it leads to a championship. That's all I got to say.
Well, we'll see about that. But the Beers and Cheers crew had you guys finishing really good. Had a good draft.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up making some noise. Really laying some napalms down this year.
Well, I think you guys are, very deserving of a championship. You guys have been playing for a very long time, but haven't been able to bring a championship to Rochester yet. There's been some rumblings in the fan base about the leadership, and maybe that needs to be changed, but I think this should be a good season for you guys.
Thank you for those kind words. He's like some rumblings from the fan side. That's what he was doing.
Thanks for watching, guys. This upcoming season, we're going to switch the format of the show. Hopefully, doing it this new way, we'll be able to get every week out to you this season. Thanks for watching, guys.